we did learn something that's finally happening after literally confirming a new TMNT live action film was coming. They confirmed this in 2018 and then again reiterated in 21 and 22. We got the update this past week at CinemaCon. TMNT The Last Ronin live action R-rated film is happening, and apparently everybody at the studio was like, when they started talking about what do we do with TMNT, this is what everybody like landed on. This idea, nobody was like, hey, let's do another reboot with the four turtles and make it for kids. They're like, we got the Mutant Mayhem universe and the TV show for kids now. Let them have that. We're going to go in a final ditch attempt to make live action TMNT matter. And this is it.
Like,
it's the only one that makes sense.
Like, I know like the graphic novel was good, but it's odd that this is they're going like all in on this with the was it the video game that's supposed to
say it's got a game, it's got another like movie coming out of it. Yeah. See, this is the thing. The Last Ronin is the only TMNT book Hollywood has read in the last 30 years.
Yep.
It really shows.
It is
like everything this one book's getting. Like, so this is the only thing people are reading.
I say this as a TMNT fanatic. People know this, follow the channel, me on social media. The Last Ronin is the Dark Knight that Frank Miller did for Batman.
Yeah.
And people think it's the only thing. Like, now look, I love The Last Ronin. I still think the like normal ongoing continuity that's been done over the last 15 years is the best. Like, those comics are just amazing. But I understand why this is your go-to. This film will, in its upper limits, probably cost no more than like $75 million. This is going to be dark, dingy. They're going to put people in suits. Like, it's going to be, I think, the film we need, because let's be real about this. A $250 million TMNT film is not going to make $700 million again. Just like the recent Ghostbusters, we now know what the ceiling for this franchise is, and it's 300 to 400 million box office. That's it. So, yeah,
which is fine. Like, you know, let's go back to times when movies didn't need to make $1 billion.
Yes,
to be a success. Like, you know, where 400 million was the automatic sequel territory.
I mean, you know, you go back to when Captain America: The First Avenger and Thor came out in that year, right? And they made just around 450 million, and they were global box office hits, top earners that year. Even though they were just barely profitable. That was the norm. It wasn't a norm to expect $1 billion till Avengers hit, and then everything after that had to be $1 billion. Like, we need to, like you said, TMNT needs to be a wave of new films that's like, hey, we made $300 million off of a $60 million budget. We made $30-40 million profit. That's good enough for us. Make more sequels. Like the old Underworld movies used to always make. Yeah, I love those. They were always made for the same budget, always put out around the same time, made the same amount of profit, and they kept making them. That's all you need. It's sustained growth. You don't need to constantly up all the budgets and everything to make more. Just be happy with what you're making. And I think they're figuring that out. So I'm hopeful about
it. It's a bit like the game industry right at the minute.
Yeah.
Yep. The AAA games are just insanely expensive to make, so they got to price gouge everything.
Bro,
they're having the same problem.
Exactly. Yeah. It's become insane. And if you look at like The Last Ronin, the thing that sticks out to me is this doesn't have an established like history to it. So this to me is telling me that this film might be a sequel to the original TMNT, because how else would you do it? You know,
part of me agrees. Like, why would you not use that?
Right.
The other part of me is I don't think you need to use it.
You don't. You don't. I think you just kind of maybe like acknowledge it, you know, to the hardcore fans, like, hey, look, when he's in his lair, remember that one helmet perfectly from Shredder from the first film? Oh, it's right there. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I see it. You know, don't need to make it a direct sequel, but wink and nod to the longtime fans, because
but at the same time, I think you could do a really good job with using the originals, and I think using the originals would really help it out. but I
Mhm.
just don't know if you necessarily have to.
Yeah.
But you get no complaints from me either way, to be honest. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised they're even making the live action one.
I mean, by the way it's looking, we're probably getting that game in like 26. This film probably in 27. Maybe even if they get it on time, we could get it in 26. Like it could be a good year for TMNT. So
Is
hopefully, if
anyone
they're gonna sell,
adapting the IDW stuff from like the 2010s?
no, and that's what I was hoping they would.
Oh, that's
Because
criminal.
that's
That
the best
stuff was
stuff.
so good. That
It's
stuff was so good. And I'm not even a
Yep.
huge TMNT guy, but oh man, I was obsessed with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that stuff was great. It's
Like,
still going on.
that
So
run went. Is it still actually going? I thought it
oh
stopped.
yeah. Oh no. Oh, it's still going.
Oh, I gotta catch
Getting a
back up.
complete creative reboot this summer, but still going.
Oh,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
150 issues
I was,
in and
I was
spin-offs.
confused at that because of the announcement where they
Yeah.
said that it's technically like this volume is finished, but they're technically trying to do a version of a reboot and with new
Mhm.
creative people. And I was like, okay.
I wonder if they're doing a more like Invincible reboot, because that had literally had an arc called Reboot, and it was really good. It wasn't really a reboot, but I wonder if they got like that right. No. And I might have to catch back up on that because I love that IDW stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It gets crazy. They definitely go a lot more not so street level and dingy like the first couple arcs.
Yeah.
Like they go out there, and it honestly it gets so good. It gets insane, but good.
Maybe
So,
one day get a nice little
yeah,
animated series. Hey, Amazon,
maybe.
you're doing really good in a minute.
Seriously though, like yeah.
Pick it up.
So
Seth Rogen, come on, you already done it with one movie. Like, let's make a series.
yep. But hey,